You're listening to the Warlord Radio Podcast.
You know me so well. Have you seen the finished product?
No, I haven't. Oh shit, that's beautiful.
Super clean. Had a white head pop up because of any grown hair like right over here, but I took care of it. But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I kind of want it because it's like the original design for the Toho press, but I did it in the American colors. Nice. Like it's like the red spines with the black kind of center point, like the kind of yellow that kind of the Godzilla had in that first flyer. So like yeah, it's like very reminiscent of that.
That is badass.
Yeah.
Well, and with that, welcome back to Warlord Radio and Harry Rock Radio. Thank you all for tuning in again. This is our second episode of 2020, and we have a special recurring guest. We have Mr. Billy LaFond himself.
What's going on, everybody?
It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, thank you so much for coming back, brother.
Dude, of course. The first one was a lot of fun.
Yes.
As I told you before, at the time I was doing DFW METAL Mayhem as a podcast, and I remember one of the first things I told you was I love being the interviewed for
right, the viewee instead of the viewer.
Yeah, because and now I fully appreciate, and now like coming back, I appreciate even more because of the decisions I have made regarding that.
Yeah.
So
well, we want to get into that. I do have to give a quick shout out to our co-host Carrick, who's dealing with some car problems tonight. So he was on his way here, and his car wouldn't start. And he's not close enough just to like walk or take an Uber in, so he needed to take care of it. So unfortunately Carrick won't be here, but I think that we've got more than enough to talk about that we'll be able to cover for him. So we miss Carrick, and we'll have you back later on with all of us, because you've got a lot coming up. But one of the things that you just kind of touched on is that you were the host of DFW METAL Mayhem, and then you announced your kind of retirement from that. So tell us a little bit about your decision.
Well, I really don't think there's anything much more I can add than I already said in the farewell video. Look, I'm all about promoting locals. I'm all about helping the homies out and whatnot, and that's what I felt like I was doing.
Yeah.
But I kind of came to this realization, and you know, this kind of happened in a very emotional part of this year for me.
Right.
It was following the whole like financial scare of the kidney stone I had and the roof damage that I had. I had to go to the ER for that kidney stone.
What was the roof damage?
So
did you get like a bad hailstorm or something?
Yeah, dude, North Texas got hit with a pretty tough hailstorm.
Oh, definitely.
This was before that tornado, though. This was just a hailstorm.
Gotcha.
So this was like the 16th or the 17th of October, I think, like the 14th or like somewhere in the teens, I swear.
Right.
But yeah, you know, but now with all that taken care of, we're good now. But in that moment, you know, I kind of sat back and I'm like, okay, let's be real here. Let's say someone caught the eye of Maldivera,
right?
Okay, and they want to know more about Maldivera. This is a guy who owns a record company, a label per se, and he wants, and he's thinking about signing Maldivera. Okay, so this guy wants to do his research, probably. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna look up shit. He wants all of his information. He'll go to Facebook, Instagram, the fucking Snapchat if he needs to, but you know where he'll go first? Is YouTube. Okay. You type Maldivera, and you see one of the videos. It's probably not the first, second, third, or the fourth, but you see it on the first page maybe, and it's them sitting in this empty ass room with no sound equipment.
Right.
No actual production value besides Vegas Pro and echo.
Right.
I'm not giving Maldivera the best showing that could potentially help them. Beyond that, I just feel like because of everything I just mentioned to you, compared to what everyone else is doing very similar to me in the scene, I'm I'm literally at bottom tier just because of the equipment by itself. I don't get me wrong, I think I can host the best of them. I absolutely think that. But where I'm not being able to perform was getting in that next level production, getting all the actual equipment needed to run a proper podcast, and I didn't have the time to do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the key, because everything else can be overcome for sure. Like even shoddy equipment and stuff like that aside, I think the biggest thing is you like assessing and being like, I can't dedicate what's necessary to make this at the level that you want. It'd be totally acceptable for someone else, but you have a certain standard that you're wanting to meet, and that's totally respectable. But in point of fact, it's actually not the end of DFW Metal Mayhem. You're actually just branching out into other things.
DFW Metal Mayhem was always meant to be a promotion tool for bands.
Right.
So, what's the next best thing? Actually booking the fucking bands.
There you go.
And paying them for playing your show. Now, this all started when I was doing the house parties. The thing was, I was doing the house parties free at the time. I don't even know why I didn't pay bands. I'm so fucking sorry if you played at any of those and I didn't fucking pay you. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Now I am starting to pay bands that play my house parties.
Very nice. I'm sure they had fun anyway. So.
Oh yeah, no, but still, like, I just, I just want to get back any way I can.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now, this would be the best avenue to go to, is book the bands that you like, book the bands that you think more people need to hear of, and book the bands that you haven't heard of. Book your fucking local struggler, Right. That's the motto I have. Like, this last house party was not my most successful one. In fact, it was the lowest attendance one, but I got people out, at least. More people now, people who really don't go to punk shows came to see the really crazy punk lineup I had. People said, dude, I'm gonna go listen to Bullet Machine now. They're fucking great. You know what I mean? I'm happy I could do that.
Yeah.
Because for one, Bullet Machine album they put out this year, holy shit. This may be the first time that a metal album review place is going to have a pop punk album in its top 5 of the year.
Nice.
Maybe. I mean, they're solid.
Right.
So, and I'm still doing the album review, speaking of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to get to that.
Because the thing is that I may have the same issues with the album reviews versus the episodes, but I'm happy with the product I'm putting out with the album reviews because I feel like I'm giving people a different look on it. Because, I'm like the weird, dirty thrash kid, okay? But I'm also the kid who's literally starting to branch out and hit all these scenes. Like, dude, I've been to a couple fucking hardcore shows. Yeah. I fucking love that crowd, dude. I'm actually fucking homies with now some of those people, and kind of trying to find out that, those homies were homies with the people in combat anyway, so we were just 1 or 2 people away from actually getting to know each other in the first place.
Right.
So, I've been hitting those up. Dude, Frozen Soul shows. Holy fucking shit, Frozen Soul shows. The Clash of the Worlds right there is the best example. Meeting all these cool ass people through that fucking band because they bring metalheads and hardcore kids together.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But I've been going to all the punk shit too. I was at the 420 Fest. I was running the fucking lottery ticket shit.
Okay.
And I was checking up on everyone, making sure everyone was okay, no one was passed out, and make sure everyone was okay, kind of making sure no one got out of hand, nothing like that.
Right.
So I've been going to all this shit, and I love all the scenes. So the best way to use DFW Metal Mayhem now is a tool to hit all of them and just show each other, dude, this shit's cool, but have you been over here and seen these motherfuckers yet? They go down. That's why I love this scene so much, as we just said. It's so vast. You have so many options to explore, and you're not done exploring.
Yeah.
You aren't ever really done exploring.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's always new bands, new people throwing together projects, or, old bands falling apart, but then those guys move on to start something else,
Andy from, fuck, man, I forgot. Damn, I forgot. Yeah, I think it's Enlist? I think so. Yeah, Enlist, man. Yeah, Andy's band Enlist, man. He dropped that, but now he's starting another hardcore band called Bliss, and he's been steadily putting out some teasers, and fuck, sounds good.
Nice.
You know, so we are seeing a lot of that. We're also seeing like just like these new kids just come out of nowhere, fucking Calculated Chaos. Oh my god, they're so fucking good, dude. Like, it kind of, you know, even though Killboy's not around anymore, Killboy kind of, you know, was that had that mantra too about them.
We played a punk and metal fest over the summer, and there were a number of cool bands there. Some of them that we knew, and some of them we didn't. But like Reisinger
is the shit.
and
I had them on my
Civil Unrest.
there too.
Those guys are badass.
Yeah. Speaking of both of those bands, we're actually gonna play a show with them in January 3rd. It was a good show, by the way. I know it was a good show. So yeah, I'm very familiar with those bands. They're good dudes.
Yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know, it's like being a little bit older than you. Like, I grew up like listening and going to a lot of punk shows and stuff like that. That was just kind of like normal. Like, I grew up in a much smaller scene, so it wasn't. It's kind of interesting because like DFW, since it has a pretty big scene of like punk and metal and underground music, is they kind of fracture where, you know, kind of like the death metal kids kind of stay at death metal shows and the thrash kids tend to kind of stay at thrash shows. Not always, there is overlap, but there's also some like insularness. But where I grew up is if you wanted to see a show, you went and saw whatever the fuck was playing, whether it be punk or whether it be death metal or thrash or old school heavy metal or whatever. So that's just how I am. Like, I enjoy going to see everybody from Civil Unrest to Diesel Beast to Skull Archer to Demon Seed to whoever. You know? Yeah,
it's like, again, it's just a we have to count our blessings thing, because I think one problem people have right now, and I think it's very relevant to right now and recent shit that's gone down, is that we can't take this shit for granted.
Oh yeah.
We really can't. I mean, all because we live it every day doesn't mean you just forget it, because
it can go away. Like,
yeah, it can. Like, you think all because we're a mecca, you don't think that shit can crash? Believe me, a shit has crashed before.
Oh yeah,
many times. This scene has went.
Like in the
hit the waves,
dude. Like when we got started, and it was, you know, the mid 2000s or whatever. That was like the nadir of everything that was going on. Like, a whole bunch of clubs had closed down, like in like Dallas and Fort Worth, and you know, it's like there weren't nearly as many quality bands around at the time. There was some good bands, don't get me wrong, but not the number. Like, it was a lot more scattered, and it was fucking tough to find like places to play. And over time, you know, Deep Ellum it's grown so much now that it's basically like fucking overcrowded all the time. Yeah. But there was a period where it was like a ghost town. You know, it's like where you had one place to play at the time, and it was Reno's. You know, but now you've got several places to play, and now there's several places to play in Fort Worth and Arlington, and you're throwing house parties, and other people are throwing house parties, like in Denton and stuff like that. And none of that shit was around before. So it's like, you know, it's ups and downs all the time. So you're absolutely right. You got to, you know, put in the time and effort to be supportive. You don't have to, but it's rewarding to put in the time and effort to be supportive and make sure that the scene stays healthy, because there's so many great bands. I mean, that's the reason. It's not like you're just going out just to go out. It's like, no, man, these bands fucking kick ass.
Yeah, it's just, you know, sometimes I feel like that because of the shit that goes on in people's lives, that it may affect other people. Right. And it turns into a much bigger thing than it should. And that can get in the way. I mean, I can point to a lot of examples, and it's even affected the shit I've been doing, you know? And I mean, just even beyond that, the drama scope, like, Reed said this better than fucking anyone has ever said.
Reed is basically
backdoor weed at shows is a band's worst enemy.
Right.
It absolutely is. If you fucking go out in between sets, chill with the homies outside, y'all passing 40s and blunts, and then you miss half the next band set, and you run in, listen to 2 songs, and you're like, woo! You march for 1, you're fucking tired because you're an alcoholic, and you fucking waddle back down, you smoke it up again, son. Like, hey, no hate to the game, but Reed has a point.
Oh yeah, it's totally true.
I love you, Reed. Fuck, I need to like...
Good point, Reed. Sometime we'll have Reed out here on the show.
Yeah,
since he's like in 16 bands.
Yeah, dude, Reed will be like, look, man, I'm not really good with crowd interviews and shit. He'll probably have to do it with like a band member.
That's
like,
fun.
I mean, one person who would be really cool for you to have on here would actually be Nate from Artificial Life Force.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that, you could have Reed on with Nate, and yeah, that'd be. Them two hit off pretty well. Like
nice.
it's why Artificial is probably the best they've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of Reed. Like, I love you, Nate, but you made the best choice of Reed. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm totally being biased, but I'm also being very objective.
No,
that.
Reed's badass, man. That's why he's killing it. And I forget exactly how many, but he's literally like in like 4 or 5 bands.
Yeah, he destroyed my favorite thrash band too.
Right.
Garage, Sun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm probably the only person who thinks that. Probably because they're still new and they haven't done a lot of shows
Dude,
yet.
I love Barrage.
But dude, yeah, like that is like, it's like thrash, but it's really like here's thrash and like here's crossover, and like Barrage does like this shit.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like we're there, but we're like here.
Right.
Like we're just on the thrash line.
Yeah.
But like, if we probably like skanked it down maybe 1 or 2 more times, we could probably cross over. I'm not against that shit because you know me. I love my stomps just as much as I love my riffs, dude.
Right.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm a big riff dude, but nothing gets me more nuts in a pit than the fucking breakdown in the obstructionist from Combat.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's great.
For real. Oh, by the way, so we're watching the original Godzilla right now. This is seriously my favorite movie. It's not the best movie. That's the original King Kong. Just get that out the way. But this is absolutely my favorite movie.
I agree. So Billy and I have talked before. We're both major Godzilla fanatics, but Billy does totally take me because he was showing off his cool new Godzilla ink at the beginning of this episode. So he's got like the old school Toho Godzilla tattooed on the side of his calf, and it looks really sweet. So that's what we were talking about at the beginning. But yeah, in the background, whenever we do interviews here, I always just put on something random in the background, and I knew I was like, well, I gotta play the original Gojira for Billy in the background. This is also my favorite Godzilla movie and one of my all-time favorite monster movies, even though it's now like 60 years old.
It holds really well.
But just the concept, I love the idea of a monster movie that's also essentially like a horror movie. And and on top of that, like the nuclear background of Japan getting bombed, and then this being a reaction to that, is all of that just conceptually make it so badass.
Yeah.
Like every time I see them, like remake or do another Godzilla movie, I know they won't, but I keep crossing my fingers that they'll go back to the dark origins of Godzilla. But I also know it's not going to happen. But,
I do agree with you on all that. I feel like Japan... Oh, by the way, the person who did the tattoo, shout out to Samantha Mobley, the bass player in Frozen Soul.
There you go,
you can
Samantha.
You can find her on Instagram. I think it's like Sam Mob X or something. I don't know. You should be able to find her. Just like fucking search her name on Instagram and you'll probably find her. She posts all of her artwork there. She actually did Carlos's Stone Cold Steve Austin tattoo as well. But yeah, dribbling back real quick. I do think that Japan released Godzilla as a message. This was a message that they wanted to convey to the world. Because you have to think about it like this. Before Godzilla came out, giant monster movies were either claymations, King Kong, Brontosaurus, the silent film in the 20s.
right.
I'm forgetting one. I hate the fact that I am. Puppets, the giant claw.
Right.
Okay.
Or even like
Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, I think was a claymation.
It was.
Yeah. There you go. I didn't forget that fucking movie.
Or even like the old school Dim, the giant ants.
Yeah.
Where it was like it's like basically like a float that looked like an ant. But it was still really well made. But
Perfectly made. Like, the claymation was of the highest quality effects you could do at that time. I mean, if you could still pull it off today, I mean, I don't care who's watching. If it's a fucking 16-year-old Zoomer kid who snorted a condom in his nose, or if it's the, like, crazy boomer uncle who thinks the world is flat, both of them are going to look at that and be like, that's really nicely made.
Yeah. The last movie I can honestly think of that I think had stop motion animation was Army of Darkness.
For major films, I was gonna say, and you're a video game nerd, but...
Right, yeah. Well, not counting like Robot Chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is great. But I mean, like, that's the last one I can think of is when they, because, then CGI stepped in and everybody went that way.
But that painted landscape for you about where we were before Godzilla came out. So the best way Japan can send a message is take America's most beloved genre at the time, because it was, and turn it upside down.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was not even worried about making all these dumbass effects. Mm-hmm. Cujo, get your big ass over here, hop in this suit.
Mm-hmm.
They made like little replica like buildings and shit for this.
It's all model work and stuff like that.
Modeled really well, and dude, even like the like electrical canisters and whatnot, when they were hit, they actually like blew like fuses did.
Yeah.
Like they did a lot of really small detail work that not a lot of people pay attention to, and they made it dark.
Yeah.
They made this horribly dark. Even this scene right now where they're just seeing this monstrosity for the first time. Yeah. Like, it really put the point to the woman, like this woman fainting. Like, they're putting this in a perspective of this is future consequences Japan has to deal with.
Right. And
they were saying that we have to deal with this. So if y'all keep this up, if this is truly how everything is going to go down, then you're all going to experience the same stuff that we have to experience, and maybe worse. Obviously, it's not like a giant monster isn't going to come out from a fucking volcano and slap your fucking Empire State Building, okay? Right. That's probably not going to happen. But look at the fucking after effects of Chernobyl.
Right.
I mean, that's as bad as it can get. Mm-hmm. That place is inhospitable for another 200,000 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only shit that lives there is the shit that lived there before it became a fucking city.
Mm-hmm. No. One of the things I love about this original Godzilla is the ending. Because the ending is so dark. Because the only way that they can kill Godzilla is the scientist that creates the weapon that's even worse than the nuclear bomb that spawned Godzilla, the oxygen destroyer.
Yeah.
Right? So the scientist has to kill himself to set it off, so he dies, and then they let it off and Godzilla dies. But what's also, I think, really cool is that it just leaves you with the expectation or at least the question of, did they just fucking kill the ocean? Because you don't know. And it just ends that way. So literally, it was nuclear weapons created Godzilla. And the only way that they could stop Godzilla was to do something even worse, which is just this perpetuation of destruction, which is a key component that none of the other Godzillas, either Japanese or American, have ever even touched on. But they did it in the first one. Mm-hmm. And that's why, to me, this one, don't get me wrong, like, I have a deep love of even the goofy ones. Because I watched them as a kid. But I do really love it when they go darker. Yeah. And I'm excited to, but I haven't seen it yet, the Shin Godzilla. Just because I know it's not supposed to be like the original, but also like a darker take on it.
I would say Shin Godzilla is more... See, Shin Godzilla has a weird rap in the Godzilla fandom, it seems. I personally enjoy it. I thought it was really nice. It was just a very... They treated Godzilla like a natural disaster.
Right.
So that was a really good thing, what they do in here. But they also treat him like a contingency threat. So what ends up happening is that they're trying to do as much research as they can on this thing,
right.
But they're also trying to kill it as quickly as possible. So you have like two conflicts of interest. No, but they both agree that they both need to do what the other is doing. So you just have this race of just shit, boom, boom, shit. Like, it's pretty nuts. Godzilla is different in this aspect, but I find it to be a pretty okay representation for what it is. It's definitely better than pretty much most of the Millennium Era films. Probably like better than maybe 2 films in the Heisei series, and maybe like better than all the Goofy Showa ones.
Right.
So it's probably like average to slightly above average if you want to put them all together.
Right.
For me personally.
Very cool.
One thing that actually it's kind of funny because Godzilla is actually one of the things that got me started in martial arts.
Oh, nice.
Yes, him and Bruce Lee in Dragon Ball Z.
So tell us a little bit about that, because I mean, on the last episode you talked about your martial arts background, but what was it about Godzilla and Bruce Lee that made you be like, I want to do that? And how young were you when you got started doing martial arts?
I started martial arts training when I was 7. Essentially, Dragon Ball Z was the biggest show on Cartoon Network at the time when I was a kid. And I mean, I forgot how. I think a Bruce Lee was just on in the living room when I was a kid, and I remember just like all the sound stuff. I was like, oh my god, that's sick. This guy's like really fast. He's like moving really fast and everything.
Right.
And Godzilla, I guess, was just like
the fight scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like all the first Godzilla I saw, if I'm correct, I could be wrong because I remember. Because I'll count it if I saw a Godzilla movie when I was too young to remember. So, and I know my mom had him on a couple of times. But I remember the first one I had memory of was the first time that Godzilla ran into King Ghidorah. That was versus the Astro Monster. I think so. It was definitely after the Mothra film.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, it was after Godzilla versus the Thing.
Okay.
So that was the first time that Ghidorah appeared. And Ghidorah was this huge ass fucking dragon that's way bigger than Godzilla.
Right.
Looks way more intimidating than Godzilla. And like that roar, dude, that shit's made of nightmares.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the Ghidorah roar is it's unsettling. Yeah. So like you have like this big evil monster, it's like gonna fuck everything up, and like you got this like smaller monster who's like the hero and shit that just wants to beat the shit out of him, so he doesn't do that. I don't know, man. Just like, you know, stand up to the fucking people who fuck with you.
Yeah, that's badass.
I mean, like, you know, that was like, but so Godzilla was like the moral teacher in this weird situation.
I know, right?
And Bruce Lee was the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball Z was the, oh, dude, I can be that strong. Yeah.
So
nuke the planet.
Do you have a favorite martial arts movie?
God, dude, that's hard. Am I high or am I not high? If I'm high, probably the 5 Venoms.
Okay.
Because, oh my god, that movie is so wish-washy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Favorite movie ever, though? Man. Man, it's either gonna be the original Ip Man, and I mean the original,
right?
Or I can't remember the name of it. I think it was Bruce Lee's Game of Death. I think.
Yeah.
The one where he fought the Russian dude out on the outside patio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That one had the best story of all the Bruce Lee movies, I feel like. Had the best progression, too.
Right.
And the bad guys that were involved were probably the best that were ever written for that genre. Maybe besides Big Boss. Big Boss was written really well, too.
Yeah.
But I would probably have to put on those two. I honestly love... This is gonna be corny. I love every Jet Li movie, though. I don't care what anyone says. Unleashed is stupid, yes, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's stupidly great.
Yeah.
Even it makes no sense, though.
No.
It's
I mean, it's still highly entertaining, and he's a badass in everything he does. So
Yeah.
It's like,
like if he's not on this chain, he'll kill you.
Right.
But then he starts playing piano.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Gotta give it up for Kung Fu movies because they really, really have this weird dynamic of just making outlandish storylines.
Right.
I mean, that's why there's so many parody Kung Fu movies out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got Enter the Tongue. I mean, the Fist.
Enter the Fist. Yeah.
Yep.
And then what was the Man with the Iron Fist?
Yeah.
That was another one. Kung Fury.
Kung Fury is dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's a bunch of those out there.
Yeah, dude, and I'm sure there's like 50 more foreign ones that we don't know about. That's why you should probably get some like Express and VPN or some shit, so you can just say, oh, well, I'm in Algeria now.
Right. I really loved the Raid movies.
Okay, the Raid movies are the shit.
Yeah, I thought that the fight scenes and the choreography in those were just amazing.
Yeah.
And just non-stop action like the whole way.
Yeah. I gotta give respect to some modern day shit. I feel like Jason Statham is a really good modern day action star.
Yeah.
And he can easily cross into kung fu shit.
Yeah.
He has in the past. He does stellar fucking work. Now we're kind of getting away from kung fu and kind of going into action, but even the fight scenes in the first Taken movie, very, very, you can tell by looking at the choreography in that movie that they took a lot of really good ideas from older kung fu movies and kind of made it and turned into a more modern spin for the fight scenes.
Right.
Obviously, Taken's an action movie, not a kung fu movie. Let me make that clear.
Right.
The fight scenes have that spirit.
Oh yeah, clearly influenced by.
Yeah. So, even some of the Godzilla movies, dribbling back, look at the way that Jet Jaguar fought. Look at the way that the original Mechagodzilla fought, especially in the sequel. Look at the way Gigan fought, and literally every movie he's been. Those are heavily influenced by kung fu choreography. It's hard when you have this shit ton weight suit on and it's so hot that you pass out in the middle of the shooting.
Under stage lights and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. That first scene where Godzilla shows up in the original movie, home dude passed out in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you see the mouth kind of go
Yeah.
Yeah, because he passed out and they had someone behind her hold him, and he regained consciousness, and they finished the scene right after that, and they took him off, man, and just had him lay down. It was crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Besides the original Godzilla, do you have a personal favorite?
When it comes to storytelling, the Godzilla vs. Ghidorah Heisei movie where Ghidorah becomes Mecha Ghidorah,
right.
That movie is solid. The first time, anytime Godzilla fights a Mecha Godzilla, the best being the original versus Mecha Godzilla,
right.
But the one where Godzilla fights Kiryu, the Mecha Godzilla that has the original Godzilla skeleton in him.
Yep.
That movie's fucking great.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Showa, Godzilla Raids Again is also really good. They made the fight scenes definitely hit different back then. They were goofy, but you got a lot of screen time with it. The first time the first time that he fought Gigan, because that was when Ghidra came with him and everything. Don't watch the English dub of that because it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
All the English,
all of the English dubs are.
yeah, they are. It's really shitty that I can't find the Japanese Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah.
I'm pissed about that.
Yeah.
Fucking Toho, come on. Release. Do an American release. You know Toho released all the movies in one pack, one collector's pack.
Yeah, for
Japanese only.
Yeah.
No.
I remember seeing it. It was like crazy expensive. It would only play in their region players.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Come on. Don't mess a bone.
Maybe when the Godzilla, the new Americanized Godzilla King Kong comes out, maybe they'll do some kind of like cross promotion or something.
That'd be great.
That would be.
I cannot wait for that either. I liked King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I liked it more than the 2014 movie.
Same.
I would call it above average, but I wouldn't call it great.
I thought the storyline was so bonkers that it was just ridiculous. Which, I mean, lots of Godzilla's stories have like ridiculous stories like Final Wars and stuff like that. But I thought that they nailed the creature design.
Yeah.
I thought that like Rodan and Ghidorah, they just looked fabulous.
The one thing I do like about the storyline is the idea of after finding out that there were more monsters in the world thanks to the paintings on Skull Island.
Right.
That it kind of started to form this branch that secretly tried to find all these monsters and where they're resting and contain them and do their research.
Right.
I like that part.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing of the story I like about the Legendary Godzilla. I mean, I think they have the potential to expand on that base, and if they do with this, because they had the potential to. They had the potential to do it with this. And the thing is that even after Godzilla vs. Kong, this series isn't done.
Right.
Because Tyrion Lannister just found the Ghidra.
Yeah.
So we already have something probably coming up with that. And I mean, what I'm predicting for that, I'm thinking Godzilla and King Kong team up and fight a fucking modern day Mecha Ghidra.
That'd be badass. I would pay to see that. I mean, I'll end up seeing all of them, but I thought that even the 2014 had moments of being good. I was just disappointed with kind of the overall outcome of it.
Yeah.
And I thought the King of the Monsters was better, and I really enjoyed the fact that it was like just fucking like monster mayhem, like right from the bat. But it was just too many storylines going on. It's like, dude, it's like pick one, like go a direction,
Yeah.
But I agree. I agree. I think it's got a good, solid setup. Just hopefully, somebody steps in and does a killer job with it.
Yeah, because we don't need to know any more of the story about this scientist and his family. His family even less so. I mean, if they kept the original scientist around, the dude who started all the shit, just cause, fine. But look, I don't give a shit about his son.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck cares?
We're here to see monsters now.
His son's 16. I know. He's even younger than that. He's 8. He's like a kid. Okay, he just wants to go to Disney World. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You have monsters in your world.
Yeah.
Use them. And they will. They showed off what they have planned with all the monsters they showed.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if you go and read book canon, there's still more that hasn't even come out in movies. So what I'm thinking is that if it keeps on a good stage of success, I feel like this is going to be a very similar-esque version of Toho Showa era, where we're just going to get 8 or 9 movies progressively throughout time, and then we'll probably have a Destroy All Monsters or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Do you think Skull Archer would ever do a Godzilla song?
I am definitely going to take that theme song and turn it into a fucking skank breakdown.
There you go. That'd be amazing.
I talked to Carlos and David about that, and they probably forgot, because especially David. But I'll definitely remind them. that we have to do it.
You guys have to do that because that'd be amazing.
Yep, because we are telling the story with Skull Archer. So essentially, we will cross over.
No pun intended. Because
Yeah.
you guys kind of play crossover.
And yeah, so we will probably fiddle around with that because we're gonna go by eras of war, so or like at least following archery. So like the first time that archery was like majorly discovered by a civilization was Egypt. Okay, so we're gonna start there, and then we'll eventually move through time. Like we'll hit like medieval Europe eventually. Maybe we'll hit up medieval Japan. As albums,
Right.
albums are gonna tell stories, and this first album is the origin.
Nice.
So, and man, oh man, I'm so excited to fucking get all over on this one. So, as everyone knows, this past June we recorded with Irving Lopez, Room 65. That's my boy. Love you, Irving. Great dude. We recorded our very first full-length album. It is 7 full songs with an intro at the beginning that will lead into Ambush.
Okay. Are all of the songs on the demo? Are they on the record? Re-recorded, redone, all that?
Yeah, so if we didn't talk about it already on the last episode that I was on, I hate our demo.
No, you did. You mentioned that.
Yeah, don't like it. I'm glad everyone disagrees with me.
Right.
That's great. I don't care.
Right?
So I took all those songs, I threw them on this album, and they sound so good. I'm so happy I made that decision. And we have the 3 songs that we've written after that, so that's Branded Heretic, that's Visions of Demise, that's Sin of Insanity. So you have like those OG 7 songs. Right. And the only song that's not going to be on that we do play is The Price You Pay, but The Price You Pay was finished after we recorded. And that's fine. That's just probably gonna go on the next one.
Right.
So yeah, as I said, this is like a story, and I've already kind of talked about the story. I won't really go into it again.
Tell me about the studio experience, because this will be your first. That was your first time in a real studio, right? So how did it feel? Like, how did you react? Because for people that don't know, recording is way different than practicing. It's way different than playing live. And there are some people that get really good and really like it, and they focus on that. And then there's other people that are like, nah, fuck that, we just like playing live. But they're almost kind of different skills. And it's not just going in and jamming the same way like a practice is. So how did you feel like in the studio?
When I started doing vocals, everything was already finished at that point.
Right.
And
vocalist is always last.
Yeah. And I went into it a bit drained because I worked that day.
Yeah.
But I was able to kind of get revitalized. Took a sip of some good in the truck, and kind of wandered in there. And at first, I really liked it. And then I listened to our first mixes, and I immediately fucking shrunk because I hated it at first. I'm not gonna lie. And I was really, really scared that I had repeated the same mistakes that I felt like I made when we recorded the demo. But then as we started getting better mixes from Irving, it kind of calmed me down. And these last mixes, dude, I'm so happy with them. Nice. I actually think I sound pretty good. Nice. And I am my harshest critic. And I'm like, I did a B- on this. Good. That means I'm way better than I was on the demo.
Yeah, so, well, of course. I mean, it's like nobody's just starts off amazing. Like you gotta put it's like anything, right? Like martial arts, it's like nobody steps in and is a black belt just right off the bat. It's like you gotta fucking work your way up and earn it, which you're doing totally. But yeah, it's a weird experience. It was a weird experience for me. Like the first time I went in the studio, I was like, oh fuck, this isn't like I thought. And like you said, it's a very humbling experience when you hear everybody removed but your track. And then you're like, oh fuck, I should do that again several times. Yeah. And time is always a factor in things like that. And you just try to get better as you do more. But it sounds like it was very positive, and honestly, it was definitely a good thing that you guys did your demo first, you know, just to get some experience before going in to record your album.
Yeah, that's all thanks to Nick Milano, the original guitar player in Scorcher. He brought in all that equipment, and thanks to Alberto's experience in doing shit like that, who's actually the founder of Skull Archer. I'm also the founder. I don't call him a co-founder. We are both founders. That's how I look at it. He, with his experience in Nick's equipment, we were able to get that demo out, and it may be a good demo for what it is. I'm just really harsh. I actually think everyone on that album killed it. That was the original lineup: Anthony, Timothy, Alberto, Nick, myself. And man, all those guys get major credit. And shout out to all of them. They did really fucking good, and they all helped change the sound of Skull Archer in a way. Especially Nick, bringing in a faster pace, gave me a lot of ideas for really good crossover riffs that we've kind of put out on these more recent songs that we've done. Alberto has kind of done the same. Like Alberto's original riffs for the songs that we have are very monumental. I feel like Ambushed is, no matter what, and I don't know if I like this or not, but no matter what, Ambushed is going to be the song that everyone probably remembers from us if they ever look back on us. Whether I like that or not, I'm not sure, because I kind of want to be branded heretic, but I get it. But you know, like, that shit's timeless. Like, that riff that Alberto wrote, like, that for me will be something that I take to my grave, you know? And fuck, I fucking miss that dude. Above all, man. Like, dude, if he ever came back and he ever wanted to start a band, like a side project, I'd immediately jump on board. Yeah, so, you know, having all these different people has kind of influenced the sound, really. And you can hear that in the album. Like, you can hear the progression when band members have changed. Like, you know, you'll notice the drumming on Ambushed or Exiled by Arrows. It's a very Tim-esque drum style, you know? The hard chugs, the really good 2/4s, smooth transitions, like, that's Tim. And then you fucking go to Kenny, like a song like Cinnamon Sanity, and it's this really weird, awkward drum pattern that he makes work. And when you see him do it, it kind of blows your mind. And also Kenny kind of brought some blast beats to us and whatnot. So, like, you can see, like, the change in sound and based on the people that were in or not in at the time. And I think that's why I love the album so much. And I think people will really appreciate, especially those who've been there for us since day one. Because of you, because y'all got me on that, because y'all got us on that fucking show at Diamond Gems. Fuck Jerry Warden.
But yes, well, that was a good time. You kind of recounted the story behind that, like when you did our album review on your show. So thank you for doing that. But
yeah, pick that up. It's good. I actually really fuck with it, and I revoke sort of what I said about the Acoustic Devil side. When you're high, oh my god, when you're high, that's a really solid listen through. But like, I don't know, for me, Acoustic Devil is a live experience. I need to sit down 10 feet away from where y'all are performing with my legs crossed, bong in my hand, and just vibe. Yeah. That's what I feel like Acoustic Devil
is. That's great. That's, I'll take what I can get. I mean,
bongo player.
We've toyed with it. It's just
it's off-putting.
No, it's not that. Not bongos. Like, we did a show with a guy on the cajon. You know.
Oh shit.
And that was kind of cool. And you know, we've you know, tried some other things, and we're down to experiment. We're down to play with anything. But it's the whole genesis of us doing Acoustic Devil was because, man, I can't even remember, like 4 or 5 years ago, we had a Stringer show set up, and we had a drummer who shall remain nameless, just bailed, just left us hanging. And we absolutely fucking hate canceling shows. And so we were kind of like desperately trying to figure out like what the fuck are we gonna do? Because even if we were like gonna ask around and try to get someone to help us out, there wasn't time to train someone to step in. And we're trying to think of ideas, and it's like, well, you know, do we want to play with a drum machine? And it was like, no, that's just not us. That's not the vibe that we're doing.
Yeah.
And because one of the things that we really focus on is kind of like a natural sound. So it's like our guitar players, you know, they don't really have like these very complex pedal boards. It's distortion and clean, and that's it. You know, they're playing through their head, and you're getting the kind of the organic sound of the instrument. Our drummers plural, you know, is they don't really use like triggers or anything like that. It's the natural sound of the drums. I don't use any processing on my vocals, no like reverb or anything. It's just the natural sound of the voice.
Yeah.
And it's just to kind of make that kind of rough, warm, natural sound and try to make that aggressive. So it just kind of came, and Alex is the one that thought of it, and he's like, well, would you want to do it acoustic? And my initial thought to that was, fuck no, because I always thought that like acoustic stuff was lame, because I never liked how people would play a song on acoustic and then whip it out. And I was like, only if we could do it straight. And then a light bulb went off, and it's like, that might be cool. It might also be horrible. So we practiced it a little bit, and it was like, we might be able to pull that off. And then we did a show, and it was like, that was decent. And then we did like a few more shows, and it worked out, and then it became a thing. So that even after we found a drummer, it was like, we kind of like doing it. And and it allows us to play kind of a wide range of other types of bands that we would never get to play with as Acoustic Devil. And honestly, people that would never listen to Silvertongue Devil will listen to Acoustic Devil and like it. Also vice versa. There's people that are like, don't fucking like Acoustic Devil. It's like, all right, you don't have to listen to it. You know, it's just something we like doing.
Yeah.
So now we kept it. So even though, you know, we have like the full band and the drummer and everything like that, we'll do some off shows on the acoustic thing.
Yeah.
And it just kind of grew out of necessity. So that's a very long story to explain the reason that it grew of not having like a drummer in the background is because when we started, we had no drummer. Like we just did it out of necessity. And so we would work with the drummer on it, you know, doing some kind of like hand drums or something like that, but we just haven't found one to do it with regularly.
I feel ya. Well, I'm glad that you got the release out, because I'm really happy that Mr. Cruz was on the drums for that release. That was solid. I fucking love his drumming so much.
Yeah.
I hope he does not stop. I swear to God,
Same.
Stop! If you stop, I will find your house. I will knock on your door, and I will leave you a bunch of McDonald's fucking burgers without the patties and like extra cheese, so it smells like shit.
Well, we're gonna take a short break. We may or we may not be playing a Skull Archer track or something Skull Archer related, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna get more in depth about the album and Godzilla.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned.
What's up, everyone? This is Billy from Skull Archer, and you are listening to the Warlord Radio Podcast. Horror movie that was filmed in black and white. It was really fucked up. I think it was on Hulu, of all places. Kind of weird to say.
There's
either on Hulu or Netflix. But I remember, like, the movie started out with, like, this mom and this little girl at the house, and they're just chilling. And, like, this random guy comes up, and you think he's like a door-to-door salesman, and, you know, he asks him to come use the restroom, and he ends up murdering the woman, and then the dad comes home of the family and found him and chained him up in the fucking garage and shed.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
It's so fucked up. There's not really any there's not any part where you think it's gonna have a good ending. You are literally just waiting to find out where this ends. You know it's gonna end horribly, but you're just waiting to find out how fucking bad it's going to end.
I was gonna show you. So I recently picked up. I got all of the classic Universal movies on Blu-ray in a box set, and they like discontinued the series, so they had them on sale. And I picked it up. But I mean, point being, yes, I love black and white movies. I love black and white monster movies, horror movies, all that kind of stuff.
Dude, you know what's one movie that belongs in this set, even though it technically doesn't because it's not a universal classic? The Hispanic version of Dracula.
I think it is in there. Let me check.
Is it?
Yes, but I've seen that.
The different actor and everything.
Yeah, the 1931 Spanish version.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
That Dracula movie is so good. Like,
well, it's a fascinating story because you might know this, but so when they made the Bela Lugosi version of Dracula, right, it was all done on sets. Like even the outdoor scenes were actually in a studio or whatever. So to make extra money. Because they built the sets and they didn't want them to go to waste, is they rented them out to a Spanish production company. So during the day they would shoot the Bela Lugosi version, and then at night the Spanish crew would come in and on the exact same sets and costumes and all that kind of stuff shoot the Spanish version of Dracula.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Bela Lugosi's an all-time classic hero when it comes to acting, but man, forget the gentleman's name that did this, the Hispanic movie.
Yeah, I don't know who the brother's name is, but he killed it.
He did phenomenal work. I mean, he's kind of the reason why Dracula kind of got sold for a time as like the romantic type, because he really embellished that part of Dracula in his parts really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to see how horror has changed throughout the years.
Oh yeah.
From where it started now from then to where it is now. It's probably one of the most dynamic changes of a genre.
Yeah.
Because it just went in so many different directions. And nowadays you kind of have the horror movies that kind of cater to the modern day colloquials. Those are kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
To be honest. There are some really good examples. Baskin is phenomenal.
I loved it. Yeah. That's Turkish horror movie. It was crazy.
I also like a modern horror movie that's actually really bad and frowned upon in the community, and I don't remember what it was called.
Do you remember what it's about?
I think the title of the movie is Sinister.
Sinister, yeah.
It's good. The pagan god.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was phenomenal, but I thought it was entertaining. It's a good movie.
I like the concept of like bringing a pagan god as like this secret like killer.
Another one that I thought that I liked that kind of came out underrated was Oculus.
When did that come out?
Man, I can't remember an exact date, but I want to say like 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
And it's called Oculus. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix or Hulu, one or the other. But it's really good. And the director, he's gone on. He's the guy that ended up just doing Dr. Sleep and Haunting of Hill House. Mike Flanagan. That was an early movie of his. It might have been his first or second movie. But it kind of got advertised as just another kind of, modern day kind of watered down ghost story.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's about a haunted mirror, essentially. But it's done really well. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend Oculus. And like I said, also like The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
He did that series on HBO, which I thought was really good.
There's also one horror movie that's actually bad, and I actually think is horrible. But I actually, for some reason, actually sort of liked it.
Yeah.
I'll try and give you the synopsis because I don't remember what the movie was called. Oh no, it was called Marina, I think. Okay.
Marina. I don't know
and yeah, this movie is so weird. So pretty much the synopsis is that Marina is this lonely girl, super lonely girl, no friends. Her social media, she has 0 friends. Like they actually highlight that.
Okay.
And she's like, when they shoot scenes at the school, she's like watching secretly like the most popular girl in school. And, she has like all these friends and stuff, and she knows everyone. And so one night, like Marina like sent her a Facebook invite or like whatever social media they're fucking using in this movie, whatever. Okay, well she accepts, gets her really happy, and like they start messaging each other, and like this girl is so excited she has her first friend, I guess, and essentially she got really annoying and kind of scared her off, and she ended up like cursing her out like in front of the whole school and like kind of embarrassing her, and essentially I don't exactly know why it happened. I would have to rewatch it, but oh yeah, no, because Marina committed suicide.
Okay.
And the movie kind of just goes through bad shit happening in this girl's life. And eventually she goes through all this shit, does all these bad controversial things, and actually makes her lose friends. She eventually gets 0 friends. And the movie ends with her being the lonely girl looking at the new popular girl.
Okay.
So bad story. It's such a horrible story, but the way they meshed it out when I was drunk looked pretty okay.
Hey man,
I guess.
Sometimes when it's late and you've been partying and you just need that kind of movie to enjoy and unwind.
That's a way better story that I would have written for a horror movie, to be completely honest. I actually have a Godzilla like original story that I wrote.
Yeah?
Yeah. Godzilla.
Well, give us a synopsis.
Godzilla versus the Chernobyl monster.
Oh shit.
Because we didn't learn our lesson the first time.
Right.
So essentially.
So when did you come up with this?
I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, and essentially the Chernobyl monster was a fusion concoction of a bunch of animals that were native to the area at the time. Okay, so brown bears, gray wolves, deer, etc. So when the explosion happened at Chernobyl and everything blew to shit, you had this group of animals that weren't together, but they were kind of in a close enough proximity so where when they got when the sudden burst just hit, it kind of just decimated everything in its path. But you remember how like in when the bombing of Japan, where like you can see the fucking just black marks in the ground, where people were,
people's shadows burnt into things,
think that. But due to the forest restoration that was going on throughout the time, that those molecules of the burn marks in the ground shifted into each other. But because it was still so heavily radiated at the time, the cells got together and clumped together, and they were able to feed off the energy and form into this giant fucking weird concocted like hideous monster. I think the name I gave it is one of 2 names. It's either Rogala, which is dumb, I was 14, or it was Craxus, which sounds a lot better.
C or K?
It was a C.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like Craxus.
Okay.
Craxus. And I was, it was one of those two. I don't know why two very different names come to mind. But essentially, that monster would form, start terrorizing the Soviet Union. And at this point in time, Godzilla was just now getting, like, the Japanese people at this point in time were now just getting warmed up to the idea of Godzilla and realizing that, okay, it kind of seems like he's a guardian. Well, Godzilla just, you know, because at this point, since he is now kind of like viewed as a guardian, he naturally goes to where this huge radiation thing just popped up, confronts the monster, they do their thing. Combined forces of the military kind of steered the battle away with no one really having an advantage over one another. But since they go off in different paths, this dude's still weighing lace to the Soviet Union just on the opposite end. So Godzilla makes a beeline back through, I forgot, it was like an old channel because I wanted him to go through like the olden parts of like Russia at the time where all like people like living in cottages and shit.
Right.
And you know, you gotta give it, you gotta give it some sort of a human story like all Godzillas do it to a very small point. So the human focus was on like a little boy who lived in this like ragtag little town, no-name Soviet Union town that kind of, you know, bread lines and shit. Poor boy, but like was an orphan, like no parents, and he was kind of like the redhead stepchild of the orphanage because he had a mutation that recently formed from the radiation explosion. So essentially, the focus is kind of on him and just him not feeling welcomed at all. Kind of like his life kind of just turned upside down. His parents were killed in the explosion because they both worked at the factory. So this kid's fucked. So there's a couple scenes with him. I don't really exactly know what was going on, but he did see Godzilla kind of go through the town, sort of on the outskirts, and like making a beeline. And he ended up taking like a Jeep this kid could drive, I guess, at age 11. And
crazy things happen.
Yeah, so, you know, kind of he's just seeing the devastation of the after effects of Chernobyl as he's kind of going through this, like, because it's like kind of, at this point, it's kind of like months past. And so it's kind of trying to do what this is doing, highlighting the horribleness of the effects that just happened.
Right.
And eventually, some character development, blah blah, talks to other victims, blah blah blah. Godzilla and the monster, and Craxus, I'm gonna call him Craxus, sounds better. Craxus meet back up, and they fight. The thing is that Craxus, for some reason, now has the advantage, and he starts kind of laying the smackdown on Godzilla, but it doesn't look like, it's not like Destroyer versus Godzilla level wrecking.
Right.
It's kind of like Ghidorah wrecking at the first time.
Right.
He kind of beats Godzilla to a pulp.
So what's Craxus's power?
Craxus's power is, since he's a weird concoction of a bunch of different animals, he kind of has like I think I gave him like a wolf type jawline with like bear-like muscles. Okay. So he had like long
quadruped, biped.
He was a he could do both. If he traveled, he would do it on all fours, kind of like Anguirus. Yeah. But he had claws for his front and hooves for his back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is really weird. But he's also like this really weird fresh mutation. So like his horns, like one actually grows out in a spiral and like goes back, kind of like a backward spiraling ponytail, and the other one kind of like loops in front and then goes back out towards the front. So he has like this huge ass like massive horn that just looks weird as fuck, and then he has this like weird club one. I kind of wanted to give it like a really kind of fucked up rendition. Right. So like he has a nose, but it didn't mutate properly. It's kind of like caved in a little bit, kind of like a dude who got his nose broke at a Knock Loose show or some shit.
Yeah.
So that was that. Essentially, he was really an adept, like kind of like hand-to-hand kaiju. But his thing was that he could spit out the radiation from the Chernobyl blast in a pure energy form. So all the effects that people had from that would give off the same effects if you were remotely near him when he made the blast. Okay. You really have a walking reactor, in a sense of the word. So the thing is that the reason why he was having the advantages, come to find out, is that he's still being able to absorb this radiation. So when Godzilla damages him, it hurts, but he can recover from it. So eventually, they question, well, if he's going away, if he's getting energy from the Chernobyl and what happened there, why is he going away from it?
Right.
And they come to find out after cutting back to the little boy and more lessons and shit like that, we go back to the research finding out that too much could kill him. And the last thing the thing is that he doesn't want to die. He wants to spread this shit out, because what he's trying to do is he's actually trying to lay eggs that will also spawn into this monster. I don't know why I wrote eggs. I wouldn't do this in hindsight. I think it's dumb. But he wanted his children to pretty much just have the earth for themselves. Okay. So that's kind of what it was. So he kind of died. He needed to hatch all these eggs and shit. So Godzilla is actually able to beat him in the third going because of the fact that they're so far away from Chernobyl at this point that Godzilla absolutely just lays the smackdown on him, and is able to do the finishing blow. But the finishing blow does result in Craxus exploding, killing a lot of people, including the boy.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
nice
dark.
twist. Yeah.
Dark.
I like that.
Yeah, I was a super edgelord at that time.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool that you did that. Yeah. Did you watch the Chernobyl miniseries that was on HBO? I was able to watch through Hulu, thankfully, at that time. Yeah. That was pretty crazy. That was nuts, man.
Yeah, was there any reported controversy on that after it came out? Like, oh, that's not actually what happened. I actually knew Nikolai, whatever his fucking name was, and he...
No, it was actually pretty accurate. The only thing that some people criticized is that, and I forget the character's name, but it was the woman that was one of the scientists that is conducting research even after it's been shut down and stuff like that. That was actually an amalgamation of different people. It was several people in real life did that, and they condensed it into her character. So some people criticize that, but I'm like, yeah, but there's making a drama. It's not 100% documentary. Exactly. I still thought it was fucking excellent. I thought they did a great job with it. So.
But yeah, I guess my mindset when writing that was just this kid, I don't know. I actually thought it would have been an idea that Toho would have ran with at the time, but given that Toho kind of went through it themselves, I don't think they wanted to put any unjust pressure on another country who had to kind of go through something very similar. Right. So
that would be cool though. That's a nice tie-in is to work in Chernobyl, or I mean they could do Fukushima now, but to bring in these real life tragedies, but use that as a springboard for a story.
Yeah,
in the Godzilla
exactly.
universe.
Because the thing is that if you really think about it, all major fiction or most major fiction stories like horror, like sci-fi movies and whatnot, they all have at least a small basis of history.
Yeah.
Where it stems from. Mm-hmm. Like Godzilla stems from the bombings of Japan. Mm-hmm. You know, it mutated a fucking dinosaur that was laid dormant in the earth for fucking millions of years.
Yeah.
And it only woke up because of this. And actually, this right here is probably the darkest part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're just seeing all the injured people, and all the children trying to take care of them. You have all the people huddled around the radio. Like, this part for me right here was like the highlight of this film. This shit, where they sing,
yeah.
where all the schoolgirls sing, that shit is spine-chilling, dude.
Yeah. Well, you know that's real similar to what they had to do in World War II, you know? It's like, you know, have makeshift, you know, hospitals where they're treating, you know, sick and dying people, and they're trying to keep the country together and stuff like that. Yeah. So this would have been real fresh on their minds, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like as if they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, again, highlighting why it's such a great movie is that they had the ability to tie in something that majorly impacted them and expressed it to the world. And Godzilla became a beloved icon because of it. Maybe that wasn't the original intention of Toho, but they knew what they had and they ran with it.
Yeah.
And it's arguably one of the biggest franchises they've ever released. I really think probably the only one that could probably be bigger than that is probably Ultraman. But
I don't think bigger than Godzilla, though.
But yeah, I was gonna say, but
I mean, Ultraman, yes, it definitely a big, iconic, you know,
it would be
addition.
I could see some arguments for it, but I don't agree with that sentiment.
I think that Godzilla is the longest running series with the most number of entries of any movie.
Oh yeah, I Fast and Furious may pass it up. Who fucking knows with them?
Eventually, but they got a ways to go.
They do, and I mean, I kind of hope Toho does something else. I mean, I like Shin Godzilla, but I want to see a modern day Toho rendition of a monster fight.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would like to see
that.
Yeah. And you don't even have, like, don't even bring back a fucking old monster. I mean, if you want to do it, make a fucking new monster.
Yeah.
Show everyone that Toho still has creative knowledge and shit, which they do. They fucking do. Have you watched the Godzilla Netflix?
Yes.
What do you think about those?
Frustrating, because parts of it I really liked and then parts of it I hated.
Same.
I was very hopeful because I thought the creature design was really good, and I thought it had a good story starting off, or at least a good concept. Let me put it that way. I thought the concept was good, but like I quickly tired on. I just thought it dragged, and that it seemed to take forever to get to Godzilla. And then it seemed like, you know, in the next one, it just like started introducing like all of these like different what I felt were overly complicated storylines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got a cool concept, just go with it.
Teach
like,
Mechagodzilla and be like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You get to see him though, but you don't get it.
Yeah. And
then apparently they could become it now because it's like a virus, some shit. Everyone.
Yeah, but I thought it was. I mean, I thought it had some cool moments. Like I thought the animation style was cool. Like I thought that like some of the battles were really badass, and I thought the scenes where Godzilla took center stage were really cool. But then again, it would go into like these long sections of sci-fi anime, and it's like, why are you guys making Godzilla a supporting character in his story? Like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah. I would agree they're very frustrating. I did love the concept of monsters from other universes.
That was cool. Like
that was like, they made Ghidra an extraterrestrial force.
Yeah.
Like not even in the same space. Like he literally came from another dimension. That shit was rad.
Yeah.
And like how he could he couldn't be damaged because you could only damage him in his realm or some shit like that, and they had to make a disorientation in the space rift to be able to hurt him, which is fucking great. The way they panned that out was great.
Yeah.
I feel like with Godzilla, you have a problem, and I hate saying this. I feel like with Godzilla, there's a problem of not being able to give a whole lot of new ideas into the franchise because of the fact that it's kind of been through everything that it possibly could be through at the moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, new concepts can be made. Fantasy is as wide as your imagination. But the problem is that I don't know how many more storylines you can have that are A, relevant, B, tenured to some form of reality, like all Godzilla movies are, so at least the successful Godzilla movies,
right,
and keep a crowd entertained at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that God vs. Godzilla has the potential to do it. I thought that King of the Monsters had the potential to do it, and though I like that movie, I do think I was wrong in my assessment in that. I do think that Kong vs. Godzilla has the potential because I feel like with the storyline of Kong Skull Island, I feel like if you could somewhat tether that into the story, but not make it overbearing, but make it a component to the other Godzilla human story, because the Godzilla human story is just kind of trash.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you could make the link between those two, I think you can make something work so that it's not abhorrent to watch while we're waiting for the next monster scene. Because I'm telling you right now, these are going to be the best fight scenes of the franchise, because King Kong is an actual fucking brawler. He's always been a brawler.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a very up close, in your face, dirty fight.
Yeah.
And that's the best fights you can have, is the ones that get really down and gritty. No one likes clean, fancy monster shit.
Right.
You gotta make that shit nasty. Ultraman's nice, it's fancy. But, look, I don't wanna see a fight where one monster German suplexes the other monster 5 times and the other monster is dead.
Right. Yeah.
No, dog, you need to get nasty.
Yeah.
So I feel like this movie has the potential to do it. I just don't know if I just don't know how the series is going to progress in a way that isn't going to turn people off, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I do think the comic series that do come out, those fucking tear. They're good. They're solid as fuck. I really think if Godzilla does have a future, I think it's in comics.
Yeah. I would love to. I know they won't do it, but my pipe dream is still to see them do a full-on R-rated dark Godzilla movie where you actually see and experience the destruction. Because you see the crowd scenes and buildings fall and people run, but you're not seeing the thousands of people that are getting crushed in all of that destruction and the blood and the gore and the violence of 2 huge fucking beasts going at it and ripping chunks out of you, the same way that in the wild, if you watch a National Geographic documentary, it's when lions fucking bite into a zebra, well, there's fucking blood everywhere and it's ripping muscle and stuff like that.
Dude, fucking look at the 2 animals that fucking get down when they fight each other. Fucking water buffalo.
Yeah.
Those things are fucking nasty. Water buffalo and fuck. I mean, there's a lot of examples. I want to see that. I want to see it just no holds barred. Go for it. Yeah, like 2 hippos or some shit. Or fucking 2 walruses. That shit's scary.
Yeah, those giant tusks.
Yeah, man, they're stabbing the fuck out of each other. Yeah. And fucking hippos, dude. That mouth is. The mouth of a hippo is probably the most heavy metal thing in nature.
Yeah.
I mean, we have songs about wolves. We have songs about wolves. That's the main animal that gets love.
Right.
But a lot of animals don't get love for metal. Like, God, like, why aren't there like 50,000 songs about fucking crocs?
Right.
Those things are fucking scary.
Oh,
I mean, don't get me wrong. You got some crazy good animal songs like "Raised by an Elephant," I think, from Torso Fuck.
Oh, okay.
That's a brutal. I think that's like brutal death or slam.
Okay.
I mean, they're pretty nasty.
Right on.
So like you have that, for example. Like, oh, by the way, this right here is like the best shots of Godzilla. Unfortunately, is right before he dies.
Yes.
Like the contrast to him underwater.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's what had to happen though, because if he survived that, the military is just gonna capture him and use him as their slave to make more shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing that he was the one who pulled it himself. But yeah, I mean that's exactly. You know what? I actually would like to see an R-rated Godzilla movie too, especially because there's just because those movies end well. It's not a good ending. Your city's fucked.
Yeah.
So many people are dead.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's like they always, it's like, I get it. It's like they're marketing to kids, which is fine. That's totally understandable. But even as a kid, I would have wanted to see like, oh shit, like there's an R-rated Godzilla. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you would sneak in to see that. But, they just gloss over the fact that like fucking millions of people just died. Like they just bombed a city, like, you know what I mean? It's like giant skyscrapers are falling and there's huge swaths of destruction and Godzilla's using his radiation breath, which who knows what are the long-term effects of that. Like, get into those details. Like really show the weight of what it would be like for these huge fucking beasts to duke it out for the fate of the earth.
Yeah.
Like go real stakes, like real people dying under horrible circumstances, people struggling just to get out of the city because all of the infrastructure is gone, power is knocked out, people are terrified, and in the skyline you're seeing these huge things like bloodily like tearing each other to shreds, like they would if they were wild animals.
Mm-hmm. Tearing to shreds. Tearing to shreds. Oh my god, speaking of tearing to shreds, Skull Archer plans are bumping right now.
Well, let's get into it.
If you don't know, I really fucking hope you know by now, we are opening for Soulfly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, like...
Is it at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill or Gas Monkey Live?
It's at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill.
I love that
Now,
place.
I am not a fan of selling tickets, but I understand when I need to do it.
Right.
DRI, it makes sense. Soulfly, it makes sense. When we did it for Deicide, it made sense. I am kind of shooting myself in the foot right now. I'm doing a show. The January 3rd show is a local show that I am selling tickets for. The reason why I hopped on that show is because I felt like that was a new way to get people to come see us.
Sure.
Christian Davis is a good guy.
Yep.
He brings in a lot of different looks. And, I feel like if you fuck with Sybil, I feel like you can fuck with Skull Archer.
Right.
I feel like if you fuck with Reisinger, you can fuck with Skull Archer. And I love those two bands I just mentioned. They're great dudes. I mean, even the shows Without Sacrifice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's that wheelhouse. I'm good friends with a lot of people in that scene. Like I fucking do fucking pest control for fucking Chris's restaurant, Sprouts.
Oh, okay.
Forget Conformity. Like that's my boy. I want more people to experience that, because if they like some of that bumpy shit that goes on there, believe me, I got your bumps.
Right.
I got your fucking bumps. I feel like we have come into our own. Like, I'm not cocky, but I am competitive in a small sense of the way. When Skull Archer came out, I'm gonna be like, I told people by the end of this year, on our first year we came out, we're gonna be considered the best new band of the year. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe if fucking Blasphemous Goat Vomit didn't fucking come in with their fucking black metal and their funny parody shit, that we would have taken that. Thanks, Colby. I love you. I love you, but you're a dick.
Shout out to Kobe.
Yeah, he's a good boy. That's a man you need to have on.
Yeah?
Holy shit. You want to talk about a motherfucker in bands?
Yes.
There you go. But then, I then decided that in 2018, I'm like, by the end of the year, I want people to think that we are one of the best thrash bands in the scene. I feel like I've gotten that down. I don't think that's a question. 2019 was a year that I just wanted to relax now. This was a year that I just kind of wanted to, you know, we're going to do the album, so let's just do a couple local shows, maybe an out-of-town show or two. Thank Kenny for the out-of-town show, and the Silo Boys.
Yes.
They're good people. So, you know, it was just a way just to chill, and, you know, we have this new band out, I mean, we got this new lineup out, you know, we're going to record with this new lineup, and I like what's going on here. So, really, in a nutshell, kind of what, so really I didn't really have any major goals except to just chill. I mean, I felt like it was a good year to do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2019 kind of hit me hard. It hit a lot of us really hard.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Fest was so emotional. Like every moment I was in Wits End that night, I wanted to cry, like really hard. I almost did it during our set, which was going to be horrible. But you know, then I kind of had all this shit happen earlier a couple months ago. You know, I had a bunch of stuff happen, and everything's kind of coming back full circle in a good way now. So I'm happy that I made 2019 the chill year, besides recording.
Right.
2020 though, I want Texas to know that we are one of the best thrash bands it has to offer. You know, I'm trying to expand here, and you know, what I plan on doing is, the dream would be this: Soulfly in March. I have tickets, $15 a piece. You can hit me up or any band member
it's,
up.
Soulfly and Toxic Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Great show. Go fucking that show.
Yeah, we have tickets.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Buy tickets from Billy to go to that show.
Yeah, we have tickets, $15 a piece. I know we're going to sell a good number of them because I've been told it is a Pit Demons mandatory show by Carlos. So thank you, Dizzy. I appreciate that. And you're welcome, because the Acacia strain really stinks, and I don't know why y'all were going to make that mandatory, because that guy has no singing prowess. Sorry.
Yeah. Not my band, so I don't care.
So I'm happy that we got to. So I'm happy about that. But the dream is, after that Soulfly show, we do a CD release show. I want either in April or May. I'm leaning towards April, sort of the end of April.
Right.
You're gonna play it, by the way.
Okay, we're down.
The lineup I want is y'all, EV, Combat, and a Steinax. Those are like the 4 bands that like we have either have the most connection with in the scene, or we vibe with the hardest.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We can't say.
Yeah, you know, so like, I mean, you know, EV was my first ever local experience, so I need them to be a part of the show. You guys got us on our very first show, so that's an obvious. Colby is literally one of my best friends ever, and he fucking had Skull Archer on the Steinax CD release. I'm definitely going to return the favor. And everyone in Combat probably has a secret gay relationship with everyone in Skull Archer.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Like, the Combat boys are phenomenal. That's the lineup I want.
Nice. That's a good lineup, man. Yeah,
and I mean, and if that lineup can't fully happen, I got a lot of other ideas that I think would fit really well. And then after that, what I would like to do, take a little break. And yes, I've been working non-stop on Skull Archer shows and recordings and all for so long. I want a small break. If we do it in April, I know May, possibly no June. This is the first time the other guys are going to be hearing this probably. So, I mean, I'll probably tell them.
Shocker.
Yeah, but when I come back in the summer, maybe do one show locally, and then Texas tour. I want to hit San Antonio, Houston, or Austin, or Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi, I can go for the fucking Annihilator boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get something rolling there. You know, maybe like 4 or 5 days. Just hit around the state and come back home. And you know, we'll finish out the rest of the year doing local shit or whatever, but that's what I would like for to happen. And I think we're on the right avenue. I've already worked with Jay Fuchs from Sound of White Noise, who this Skull Archer album will be coming out through Sound of White Noise.
Right on. Very cool.
So I already actually gave him the money. The only thing I have to do is get the templates worked on for the 4-panel.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, we're not doing anything fancy. It's going to be the name, red logo, and the black background. Want something super simple for the first album.
Gotcha.
On the back of the songs, on the back side, then when you open up the 4-panel, just the lyrics and thank you sheet at the back.
Do you have a title for the album, or is it just going to be called Skull Archer?
It's going to be called Skull Archer.
Okay.
All the best thrash debut albums were self-titled. So I'm going to follow along that.
Bonded by Blood?
Bonded by Blood is great, yes.
No,
but
I'm just fucking with you, dude. I'm just fucking with you.
But, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like... I don't know, because, like, even though I have more influences from the old school wave of thrashes and whatnot, I really feel like the new wave is the future. I feel like these new thrash bands are going to become the mantra. I feel like they are going to become the pushers for this music. I really do feel like now at this point where you have the big four either retiring out or just not producing.
Right.
That you're having bands like Havoc, Toxic Holocaust, Municipal Waste, Lich King. I mean, I can go on. You have those people that I feel like are pushing the envelope. So, in true new wave fashion, I feel like just self-titled would just kind of fit. Because, like, we're in that camp. We are in the new wave camp. I mean, that's just what it comes down to just because when we came out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got nothing but all respect for the old. In Search of Sanity by Onslaught is probably my favorite album of all time.
It's a great album.
Yeah,
it's a great band.
Perfect. Yeah, seriously. Like, God, that dude's voice was just melted butter. Like, Joey never sang that good, in my opinion. Like, that dude had it. I don't know what he was on, but he had it. Really, at the end of it all, I want Skull Archer to be a representation of every part of thrash thrown in the one. Because I feel like we've never had a thrash band do that in our scene. I feel like all the thrash bands in our scene either lean one way really hard or stick to the very small window of influences they have to create the music that they create. And there's nothing wrong with it because there's really not one bad thrash band. There is one bad thrash band, but every thrash band has that I have seen besides that one has been completely stellar, mind-blowing, and they bring something different to the table. Maldivera, Exploder, Chemicals, Electric Vengeance, Barrage. I like War Beast. I even like Life of Scars, even though I gave that album a very harsh review. Even the old stuff, I like Gamicide. I like Hammer Witch.
Rigor
Mortis, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were it. They delivered on it, and that's kind of the direction I want to go when it comes to the whole atmosphere of it. I just want to take everything that I like about thrash and what everyone else in my band likes about thrash and bring it all together, because I feel like you can have this really good sense of mixing. I feel like thrash is probably the best example of seeing generational gaps throughout it. I just want to combine them all and just that be Skull Archer sound. That's why we have all these weird, crazy breakdowns. We have these really fast riffs. We're even going to start having songs that have like some acoustic beginnings, probably like some more South American thrash bands did. Carlos is really good at that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like nothing. The only direction for Skull Archer is up, and I really do feel very powerful in that. This is the hobby that I've been the most successful with. It's the hobby I believe in the most. It's a product that I'm proudest of.
Nice.
I've never done anything better in terms of material than Skull Archer. My fucking extensive years work in Dungeons and Dragons campaign writing is nothing well, I wouldn't even call it Dungeons and Dragons writing because I was just writing fiction. But even my old fiction writings, dude, that I'm actually still proud of. They're like a half knock on like what I've done with Skull Archer. No, not me. What we all have done with Skull Archer. I mean, I'm the least talented member in the band.
No, that's Carlos. Just kidding, Carlos.
Come on, Los.
You know I love you, brother.
I love you.
So, what would you say is the biggest evolution between the demo and the album? Because only you guys have heard the album so far. So I don't mean just production-wise, but like as far as like songwriting and skill. What do you think is the main difference between the demo and the album? So for people that have heard the demo, what are we going to hear when we hear the album?
So I guess if you notice, this is probably a little bit of I don't know if this is a bad thing to say or not. One of the biggest changes, I'll list two. One of the biggest changes is you'll notice a lot of different attacks on bass. Anthony's a great bass player. Anthony kind of followed in the footsteps of Alberto when it came to playing. Right. So really the bass didn't pop out too much. Anthony was just doing the bare bones bass work of old thrash basses, which is fine. That's kind of what I wanted, okay? But Reed came in and brought a lot of different attacks on bass, and you will definitely notice it, especially in the 4 songs that the demo and the full length share. You'll especially notice it on the newer songs that this lineup has been a part of. I feel like the biggest change in this is me. I feel like my voice on this is not as, to put it to you this way, I'm still green at vocals. I don't care what anyone says. But man, I had nothing back then. Like that was like my first time ever doing anything like that.
Right.
And I've only been, and before that I've only been singing for about 2 months, dude. Right. So my voice cracked. It kind of faded out a little bit. You kind of notice I go out of pitch every now and then. This one, I kind of did it the way it should have been done. I kind of have better control of my tone. I have better control of my harshes. I have better control of everything pretty much on my vocals. I feel like I've really improved as a vocalist, and I feel like that will be something that people notice, because the one reason why I hate the demo is because I don't like what I did on it. Right. But I love what I did on this, and I feel like this is a better representation of Skull Archer. Not that I don't regret the demo. The demo will be up on YouTube for the rest of its life until Fuckerberg wants to, or not Fuckerberg, but fucking the witch, from the witch CEO of YouTube and her stupid crony ass team of glue eaters decided to delete the video. I fucking hate what's going on YouTube right now. I'm sorry. That's a bunch of scumbags.
No, I'm with you. All of it. It's all chaos right now.
Yeah, they're just trying to fucking get up to. It's just another case of corporatism getting into an outlet that was bigger than all mainstream media, and they felt threatened by it. That's exactly what it was, dude. They're fucking scared. Yeah. Because YouTube was going to become a giant, but it's a giant they want to control. So I don't regret it. I'm happy that I did it and that it's up. The one thing that what I am most proud of on this album is that I feel like this was going to be the direction that Skull Archer would have went anyway, but I'm doing it with people that have that same mindset. Nick likes to play really fast, so I think that we still would have had the fast songs that we do have. Alberto liked to play old school thrash, but I was a big breakdown junkie. Like, you have like the Skull Archer, like the dun 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 dun, so like I like my breakdowns, so like I feel like we still would have went in that sort of same direction, but I was just able to experience it with new people, and as I said, you're gonna notice on the album the evolution or the different courses that Skull Archer has taken. I want to call it evolution because I really feel like that all past and all past band members have been flawless in what they've done in Scorcher, and they've all changed Godzilla. They all changed the fucking, hey look, King Kong. They all changed Scorcher for the better. So I feel like this is just a culmination of that journey, and I feel like it's going to be told on this album, and I'm excited for it. I really, really, really cannot wait to put it out. I will put out a song on Christmas Eve. Okay. On the Scorcher page.
So that will already be out by the time people are listening to this.
Yeah, and if something does end up coming up on this, which I want it, I'm going to talk to the other guys because I haven't at this point, and find out if they would be okay with that. But yeah, if you have, if there is a track on here, I hope you enjoy it too. I don't know which one I picked, but I do know which one is going on the page
on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we've already decided on that, and we are excited to put that one out because I really think it will generate a lot of hype and a lot of buzz, and I want to get excited. I want to get people excited. Because we recorded back in June, and I kind of feel like, with everything that happened in the band and everything that happened with me afterwards, I kind of felt like, we could have put it out sooner, but with just everything happening, that we kind of had to, take this time to just chill out on it. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for people to listen to it. I really can't wait to get everyone's input on it, because I'm not going to do an album review on it. That's not fair.
Yeah. I'll do one. I can't wait to hear it.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, I think, as I said, I think this is a good representation of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so lucky to have those guys. I feel like they have really helped me with my dream on doing what I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to do this for over 10 years. And now I'm finally doing it. And I have...
It's got to feel a little bit surreal, right?
Yeah, I have 4 like-minded people that also want to do this and want to help me in doing it because I'm helping them do it. Like, this is the best thing about the scene, is being able to bond with people like this. Like, when you sit down and you write ideas with someone, like, this with Alex, when you sit down with someone and you write ideas with someone and you make it come to fruition, whoever you did that with, y'all go to the grave together. Like, I fully intend on dragging Alberto into my coffin.
Right.
Like, I love Alberto so much, and I will always give him credit. And I sent him the entire album the other day. Of course I would. And he deserves it. And he fucking loved it. He,
badass.
Yeah. He even said, dude, these new songs are so fucking good. Oh my God. Like, like hearing Alberto kind of praise it and like praise the rework that we've done on the old songs, he even said, yeah, man, I was like really, really proud to be a part of this. I'm like, dude, you weren't a part of it. You founded it with me. Like, that, like, it doesn't matter who's in the band afterwards, dude. Like, you and I are always the founders.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, great dude. And I'm so happy that the Electric Vengeance boys introduced me to him. Yeah. That was the biggest power play that Evie could have done for me. And they did it really well. Oh, yeah, you made the jump. Cool. But yeah, it's just, I'm very lucky. I said this last time too, but I'm very lucky just to be around people that support my dream and support what I do and all aspects of my life. Some of my best friends have been found in the scene, and like through its ups and its downs, its lows and its highs, man, I'm always gonna be here. I never want to stop. Like, never ever want to stop. Like, as long as I physically can, I want to be a part of this. Yeah. And,
well, look, man, you're a hustler. Like, you get out there and you do your thing and you promote yourself and you promote others and you put time in and all that stuff bears fruit. It's you do it because you love to do it and people know that and. You're working on leaving your mark, so that's all to the good.
Yeah, like it's kind of I feel like it's the reason why we got on the Soulfly show. I hate, because I asked Joseph, I'm like, Joseph, who is my good middleman? Who is my good middleman for this shit? That's what I want to know. Whoever it would be, let me know. And Joseph said, I can be your middleman for that show. He hit up Gas Monkey and he found out for me if they were having locals or not. And I told them, like, you know, I sold 50 tickets for Joseph just off those 2 DFW Metal Fests that we did. You know, I mean, we didn't have to sell those tickets because you know, those tickets are optional for selling, but it's just bigger bang for your buck if you do. So I just wanted to do it. It's gonna help for album money, you know.
Right.
So you know, I'm like, you know, sold those tickets for you. I got 2 good records with Deicide on our 3rd show ever. We sold almost all those tickets, and then we sold almost all tickets for DRI. I mean, like, believe me, bro, we can bring them. And we got on, you know. I feel like that's the rewards and the bearing of the fruit that you were talking about. Like, you just got to put in the work, man. And look, you don't have to, like, play for nationals if you don't want to. There's a lot of bands who don't. But for me, this is the opportunity to, one, play with a hero of mine. Like, I'm not the largest Soulfly fan. There are some albums I like of Soulfly. But I love Max. I'm a big fan of Max. I actually really like Cavalier Conspiracy, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a really good side project. I kind of thought it was kind of silly when he did the Nail Bomb songs, but you know what? It was fun.
Max is a badass, man.
Oh yeah, no, Max is a true veteran, man. Like, that's a hero, you know. And you know what I found out? In 2021, I don't know why they already booked the show, but in 2021, Overkill will be here.
Oh, damn.
I have to get on that one. Overkill's my favorite thrash band of all time, dude. Like, I'm also probably one of the only people who think that. But there is not a thrash band out there who has been more consistent and put out good heavy hitters while being that consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go through any of their albums, and even though they may not be great, like, I hear Black is kind of, you know, not really all that well. There's like a couple damn good songs on that album. The Horoscope album, I fucking love.
Yeah,
I think it's a great album.
I dig it, yeah.
Yeah, Karma's probably one of my favorite songs, like, ever. You know, but then, like, you look later, like, The Electric Age. The Electric Age is such a good album. Now, and even the album after that, White Devil Armory, damn, that shit was bumping. Like, I don't know. I wasn't super sold on the last album, but it also has some really, really good songs on it too. Like, so for me, Overkill just doesn't put out. They haven't put out anything that's made me just be like, wow, fuck off. Like, they've always put out something that made me be like, okay, I like this kind of new style they're doing. Bobby Blitz is just a hard worker, man. Like, like, his frontman is so weird, but I love it. Like, the mic stand is like an extension of his body.
Yeah, he's very unique.
Yeah, and like, since he's like a, you know, Dirty Jersey kid, and he's like doing all the like little, like, I love it, dude. He has a character. He builds it well. Like, to play that show would be great. So, you know, we don't do these shows a lot. We do them once a year, if even.
Right. That's a good way to do it. I
want them to be big deals, and I want to make sure that I'm opening up for someone new all the time. Like, I would open up for DRI again in a heartbeat, but I want to open up for some other bands first.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we can get on a lot of really, really good shows. Like, if Mayhem Fest is going to come back, which it is, and all the, you know, monster drinking Kyles are happy about that, have locals open it.
Right.
Yeah, like that 3, 4, 5, those 3, 4, 5 sets, 5:30, even 6 o'clock, man. Give it to locals, and then from there, you can have the national bands. You know, you can have a couple, like, you know, have a local stage, and then have a stage of like the smaller touring bands, and then have your main 97.1 The Eagle stage.
Right.
All the fucking Five Finger Death Punch playing after fucking Amon Amarth. Who the fuck wants to go to a show where you're gonna get down some good ass fucking Nordic death metal, and then you gotta fucking listen to bootlicking?
Ugh.
An hour and a half of musical bootlicking. Like, no, dude. Call me an elitist if you want. Fine. But I don't like my metal having boot flavor on it. Sorry, not my thing. I get Disturbed is kind of neat, I guess if you're really high and you want to listen to the first album, which actually is not that bad, but don't fucking make me buy tickets for that shit if you're just gonna fucking have a band like Cannibal play on their fucking Cedar.
Right.
I'm not interested, dog. Sorry. I'll dip after Cannibal.
Yeah.
Because we'll probably kill half the fucking Cedar fans in the pit anyway on accident. I'm being an asshole. Neck rock shirt for the 6 people who get that joke right now.
Right.
But you know, just so, man, I'm like, Craig, great, man. Thanks for having me on. I just forgot my train of thought.
Wow. Gotcha. Well, that's okay. We'll wrap it up, but I do want to hit on real quick. What have you been listening to lately? What have you been jamming? Besides New Skull Archer and some of the local bands that you've been mentioning, but just, you know, what have you been listening to in your work truck or whatever?
When I'm not listening to either documentary videos or like videos pertaining to nerd culture, like D&D stories that I listen to. Musically, right now I've kind of in a weird mix. Right now I'm listening, on the way here, I was listening to the very first Mobb Deep album.
Okay, nice.
Which, I love me some old school hip hop. Everyone knows that I fuck really hard with like Wu-Tang Clan and 3 6 Mafia, Tech 9, like, I even like DMX. Like, I grew up as a white kid in a Hispanic and African American neighborhood, so like I was surrounded by that shit. So I dug it all the time. I actually listened to Billie Eilish last week. That's the one really guilty pleasure I have. I don't know why. I just I like her approach. I know people call it basic and predictable. Whatever it is, it's ICP with talent. That's what I call Billie Eilish, because she has
less Fago.
Yeah, less Fago and more actual fucking effort. Like, you know, I don't know. I just like her outlook on pop and how she takes it. She takes it to a level that no one else really took it to. Like, she took it to the fucking sewer. You know, like in a more like a dark sense, like the sewer's dark and shit.
Right.
Like, you know, took it to that sort of level. When it comes to recently, metal-wise, I listened to some Nuclear Assault.
Of course, classics.
The first Destruction album is so good.
Any Destruction album, I love Destruction.
Yeah. I listened to God, what's that fucking Flint Troll?
Flint Troll?
Yeah, they're good.
Fucking pagan metal.
Yeah,
that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. When it comes to death metal, I've been listening to some Torture Killer. Okay. That's the one album that Chris Barnes did vocals on. Is the only good thing Chris Barnes has done since leaving Cannibal Corpse, in my opinion.
Right.
I just felt like his vocal style kind of caters to the kind of death metal that Torture Killer plays, which is just way better 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, I'm not a big 6 Feet fan myself, but
Graveyard Classic.
Oh, no thanks.
Dorks. Fucking nerds. Whatever. Like, that guy is so out of his ass, though. I remember someone asked him, like, on Twitter, like, what his favorite album release was of the year, and he was like, oh, I didn't listen because I've been focusing on what I've been doing. Like, you're a fucking prick. Dude. Shut the fuck up. Who else? Bit Life. Love me some hardcore. Judiciary 2. I mean, I kind of had to shout some locals because I am wrapping up these album reviews and I'm going to be doing a top 5 pretty soon. Frozen Soul fucking hit hard with theirs. That fucking Mortician cover is the stuff made of gold. Fucking Vault Dweller. God, dude, Vault Dweller did so good on that, man. I'm gonna miss Shannon. Fuck. Yeah. Damn, dude, that was a drumming motherfucker, dude.
Oh yeah.
Who else? Sagan and Weiskenabog? That one band that Devin from Limb Splitter fronts. That's a Maggot Stop band, like Frozen Soul. They did really, really good on their recent release. The Electric Vengeance album I like a lot.
Well, yeah, those guys are killer.
Yeah, they're kind of like moving towards a more stompy style. I kind of like it. You know, they kind of understood. They kind of understand now what the climate is, and they kind of move towards it. Really good move on their part. But also keeping their old traditions. But yeah, man, like all these albums that have came out, fucking Demon Seeds, Necrosis is a little EP, was monstrous as fuck. I'm getting the Ride of Obsidian album really soon in the mail. I gotta give him the money for that, because that's the one album I still need. Cleric. Cleric probably did it for me for number one.
Okay.
Cleric has always been the most evil sounding band in our scene, because, you know, Home Dude fucking reverbs the fuck out of his voice, and it just sounds so nasty with what they're playing. Because they're essentially playing caveman riffs, but they're doing it in a Swedish death metal approach. And it's so fucking good, dude. Like, who else? Oh, also on the way here, I listened to Forebode, which is a stoner doom band from Austin.
Yep, know that.
And dude, like, okay, what they are is they are like Crop Dust, but with more caveman riffs. Forebode is literally a caveman stoner band, dude. And they are so fucking nice. I talked to them at that Noisem show, because they opened up for it. That was a good show. Net rock shirt. Okay,
inside jokes. Right.
Yeah, essentially this dude who was fucking with the little hardcore kids, man. Like, you know, when it comes to the Frozen Soul shit, you know, you're gonna have, you know, the circle pits and then the hardcore kids.
Right.
Okay, you know, usually you let people do their thing, you know, like we'll do our thing, you know, we'll give you the room, you do your thing, give us the room, you know, like, and I, you know, as I said, I fuck with some of those hardcore kids, man. They're like my homies, you know. I've been getting to know them pretty well. This guy I've never seen fucking before in a neck rock shirt comes and he's like, yeah, I better not see no hardcore shit. I don't know why he was even like saying that really stupid shit. So for us, so played, you know, you have like, you know, like little Olan Martin who's like 17. You know, you have like all these little like minors there. You know, like small people, dude. Like small people. Like Madison's like so small, dude. Yeah. Like, you know, and you got this big drunk dude who's just trying to barrel people. Right. Like while they're two-stepping and no one else is circle pitting, this guy is, and is like shoving them across the floor. Like, so, like, eventually he like shoved Olan, which he's 17, so like, I'm like, dude, okay, now you're trying to fight kids. Right. There's a problem. You don't have to like what he does, but you try to fight a 17-year-old? No, dude, no. So I got in between it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, I shoved him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Get away. And he started hitting me. For some reason. But, dude, amateur MMA fighter, former amateur MMA fighter, I can take a fucking hit.
Of course. No.
He hits
still,
like, and he hit
just
like,
the fact that someone would start swinging.
Yeah, dude, like, but he hit me like right up here on top of my head, so he probably hurt his hand more than he hurt me. And I fucking clocked him a couple of times, then my boy Giannis came through and smashed that dude, and then kind of that's how it all got broken up. Right. And so essentially the neck rock shirt joke is that that dude was wearing a neck rock shirt. Gotcha. And Giannis the other day was like, man, I'm in a neck rock shirt. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I don't know if he's actually like a regular goer in the scene or not. If he is, and if he's somehow listening to this, just be cool, dude. Like, I get that people don't like hardcore dancing. It looks silly. It's silly. I'll even admit that it's silly. I like the two-step. I'm not even going to fucking lie to you. I think it's a lot of fun. But people got to realize, dude, no hardcore kids are going to go to a Cannibal Corpse show and do that shit while Scourge Brian is playing, okay? But metalheads will definitely go to a hardcore show and think that they can circle mosh and then push all these people while they're just doing their own thing away from people. And I mean, there is crowd killing. That's fucked. I don't condone it. Yeah. I don't. But
that's the only place that I draw the line. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody does. Like, you can do your thing, and that's cool, and that's totally fine. I don't dig on crowd killing where you're basically like targeting people that are trying to watch the bands. Yeah. And it's like that to me. It's like, all right, now you're just asking to get laid out. Yeah. But if you're just fucking like two-stepping, or even if you're swinging but you're in your spot, then go for it, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, even crowd killing even fucking goes into circle moshing too, because you got all the fucking drunk assholes who fucking plow into people just on the side. Or in the case of Reed, when he got fucking knocked out of Tomcats, dude ran out of the pit and then blindsided him.
Yeah.
And he's like twice his size.
Yeah. Fuck all that.
Yeah. So like, you know, it's just head ass shit like that. Like, I really feel like the reason why there's like this really weird scuffle between the two big scenes is because they just don't fucking get it with each other. If they just let each other do their own shit and be respectful about it, it's fine. But, you know, you have a bunch of ignorance on both sides that play to it. And, you know, Mike, what was so important about, like, Mike Vest, for example, was Mike was someone who was starting to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? And he did. He did. Like, you have people like Andy who go to metal shows now, and, you know, the grindcore bands, like DIY bands, are playing with some hardcore bands too now, and, you know, Barrage played with bands like that at one point too. Frozen Soul's a great example. Combat's a great example. You're having bands that kind of play in a bunch of different scenes, and I kind of feel like Mike was a big movement in that, and I don't want people to forget that. I want people to realize that we're all in this together, and all because we do something different doesn't mean we need to be fucking enemies, for fuck's sake.
Right.
I mean, pit demons and pit bulls get along, okay? If they can get along, and if fucking any fucking pit bull can get along with fucking Doug,
Right.
of all fucking people, I'm pretty sure this shit can be solved too.
Right. It's just, you know, that stuff goes way back, man. Like, way back in the day. It's like, you know, punks and metalheads. It's like they were, like, warring tribes against each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you kind of started to bridge that gap, you know, when the DRIs and fucking SODs, like, started to kind of bridge the gap, and you had, like, the birth of crossover and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like it would still be kind of like pretty tense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you'd have a few bands like Slayer and stuff like that that would have like both punks and metalheads, or, you know, like Motorhead and stuff like that.
Thankfully now that's not really a thing. Now the punks and the metalheads kind of get along. We play so many shows. We played like 3 shows of Calculated Chaos this year. I fucking love those kids. They're really, really swell.
It's definitely less than it was, but it's still a little bit of that lingers, and that's where that comes in. It's like, you know, the different styles and moshing and dancing, and the, you know, the different crowds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but that is like the remnants of that kind of like old school hatred of each other that used to be there.
And it's also that crews don't get the best rep, because the reason why you have the hardcore disdain for groups like Pit Bulls and Pit Demons is because of the fact that historically, when hardcore groups were a thing, they were super ultra violent, and they actually went after people, targeted people, hurt people after shows, and like it was like as close as you could get to like a fucking actual gang without doing gang shit.
Right.
You know, so upon looking at an organization like the Bulls or like Demons at first glance, you're like, oh fuck, gotta deal with this again. You know, even though that's more metal crews and this is more like, and what they were sharing was hardcore crews, you still have people that kind of will conflate the two, just either because they're overly cautious, ignorant, or both. And that's just got to be something that's going to get melded out with time and you know, just relevancy. Like Mike was a really good mover in that. Delton right now is a really good mover in that, because Delton is still a member of the Bulls. I love him so much. He still goes out with the Bulls shirt, so you know that's still getting looked at, and he's going around to other types of shows. And he actually has more friends in the hardcore scene than I do. So, I mean, he's doing really good with it right now. In the Demons, you have people like Jeffrey, who do a really good job with that. You have some other people like Renato will every now and then hit one of those shows. Carlos will hit those shows too. So you're having people kind of slowly integrate all in all together, and we're all starting to kind of understand each other now, which is great. I feel like if there is the biggest turning point in any part of this for the scene, the best thing about it so far, besides all the badass releases, is the fact that we're now seeing a unity that we haven't quite seen yet. And I really do feel like it can only go forward from here, you know, because I mean, for the Bulls, there's not enough of them actively coming around all the time to shows, to the point where things can either get muddied or clearer. So what you do have with that is Delton coming out and kind of being a rep on that, which is probably the best thing for them in this sort of angle. And then you have the people like Jeff and Renato who are also going out too. So that's how it should start.
Right.
You know, individuals are individuals, though. Only time will tell. You know, as long as we're just all having fun.
Yeah, that's the main thing, right?
Yeah, for real. Like, I got mad love for most people I've seen the scene. There's probably like 2 or 3 people that I will not fucking talk to. Right. And I've been in the scene for a while, so normally I have a bigger number when I'm in crowds like that, but I have a really small number now. So I love everyone, man. Like, you know, and I want to show everyone that love by doing the Skull Archer, by doing the album reviews, and I just want to get back, and that's what this is about.
That's greatness.
Yeah,
that's greatness.
I'm so happy that you had me back on, dude.
Well, dude, we love you. We're so happy to have you back. Super excited to hear your new album. Glad that you've got big things on the horizon, and just can't wait to see what you're gonna do with it. You know, want to see you. Want to play shows with you out of town.
Yeah, dude. You know, you let me know, because you know the shit out of town. I'll probably be hitting you up to ask about Houston and Austin and Corpus.
I can help.
Hell yeah.
I can absolutely help.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, but thank you so much. So, Billy is going to definitely come back when we get Carrick back, and we're going to at that time be able to talk about the things that have happened after your album came out. But that's the big thing now, is that new Skull Archer on the horizon.
Yeah.
And when this comes out, you'll definitely hear one of the new songs, maybe an exclusive second. We're going to get word back on that.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, you can like Skull Archer on the Facebook page. We also do have an Instagram as well, that we kind of post our little shenanigans. Like yesterday, you posted us around listening to Frozen Soul or eating pizza, talking about how we're going to release this shit. You can follow us on those two predominantly. The Twitter's kind of a clone of the Facebook page, but if you have Twitter, you can do it there too. Check out the channel. The channel also has some stuff. I'll probably be uploading some more stuff on there in the future. You will need to follow the Facebook page, because that is where the song will be uploaded to. But the most important thing is the fact that I still have Soulfly tickets, and I will have Soulfly tickets on me by the time this episode drops. I know for sure.
And when's the date of that show?
March 9th.
March 9th.
March 9th at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. I am selling tickets for $15. You can hit the band page up. You can message the band page. You can message me or any of the other members, and we will direct you and help you out in getting you a ticket to that show. Don't pay online fees, taxation.
No, fuck that. Get it from the band. Get it directly. Don't even get it from Carlos. No. Nobody else. Just get it from Billy.
No, man. If Carlos has to.
No. Carlos has got to do his own hustle. Get your tickets from Billy. Only for Soulfly.
Oh shit! Gotta make them work extra hard.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't go online and pay online fees. Taxation is theft.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Get it straight from the band. Anyway, Billy, thank you so much, brother. It was a great pleasure to have you on, and you will definitely be back.
Can't wait. Thanks.
Run, soldier!